Are we ready for the last session of Global Plant Forward? And we're ending on a really special note. We have two really amazing, talented chefs who I will just say are a dream to work with. We have this session, Seminar D, From Seeds to Nuts to Fruit, Elevating Everyday Meals. And I feel like there are no better chefs who do that than Abra, Berens, and Andrea Nguyen. So this is going to be a really nice, Abra will demo first, and then Andrea and her will be in conversation the whole time. We encourage you to shout out questions, and then just give me a second because this is being filmed for the webcast, so I will just need to repeat the question for the people watching, virtually. So I am happy to introduce you to Abra Berens, who is a chef at Granor Farm in Three Oaks, Michigan. I've had the chance to have a dinner at her facility, and it's really beautiful. If you ever find yourself in Michigan and want to really have that farm-to-table experience. They grow grains, they grow vegetables, and Abra can tell you a lot more about what they're doing on the farm. And then she's really built up that program with guest chef dinners. I just found out Stephen Satterfield, who you saw on day one, is going to do a special dinner there. So it's worth checking out. And then we'll be followed up by Andrea Nguyen, who is just so revered in, no, you are, don't, she's too modest, But a prolific cookbook author, a teacher, and we're just really pleased that she said yes to our invitation. And then we had a conversation, and Abra was like, it's so nice, that we're going to be working together. And then Andrea was the same. They've been fans of each other for a while. And so I think this is really going to be a wonderful, warm session where you are going to learn a lot about elevating those everyday meals. So I'm going to pass it off to the chefs. Again, if you want to ask a question, yell it out, and then just give me a second to repeat it for the webcast.
Well, thanks so much, Jennifer. She's not lying when she says that we were all really geeked on the pre-call for this. And part of that is because for both of us, there's so many facets of the food world, some of which are geared more towards large-scale food service production, some of which are geared towards coming into a restaurant and eating. But we both also really value getting food into home cooks' hands because we make so many food choices in our own kitchens and want to provide people tools to be able to make good decisions for them and for their family. And that good decision can be any range of things about how to best get food onto the table in 30 minutes, how to incorporate new ingredients, how to think about a larger food system on your day-to-day plate. And one of the things we were talking about with this is that as we're sort of leaning into a plant-forward diet, the emphasis is often on vegetables, protein, fiber, things like that. And there's this whole category of ingredients that often doesn't get talked about in that way. And for us, it's really fruit and seeds and nuts. And all of those things are, they're coming together. Often the seeds and nuts are inside the fruit at the outset, and then they have the second life there. And for me at Granor Farm, as Jennifer was saying, Granor is first and foremost a farm that happens to do these dinners. But we are always trying to get people to be cooking at home and using these ingredients. And the way that we do that is by almost using exclusively what we grow. Michigan is the second most agriculturally diverse state in the nation, and that is really because of how much fruit we grow. And so today's demo is kind of highlighting fruit both regionally in the United States, but then also bringing in other flavors throughout. So I've got 3 things to demo. They're kind of different parts of a meal because fruit is often, people say, why do I need a cookbook about fruit? You just eat it. Or it goes into a pie, and that's it. And so there's lots of ways that when you have this abundance of this ingredient, it can switch over to a savory side. And so all of our dishes today are going to show you kind of a savory way to enjoy fruit. And for me, you know, in a fruit growing state, we have real big peaks and valleys of when fruit is available. I'm sure that's not a surprise to anybody. And so we're also looking at other ways to preserve that bounty so that we can use it throughout the year. One of the hardest things for growers is to manage a really spiking cash flow and availability. And so as producers and as consumers, what we can do is help them flatten that out, flatten the curve, as we've all become accustomed to saying, by being able to preserve things over the course of the year and leverage them throughout the year. So for me today, the very first thing I wanted to show you is brined blueberries. I've been thinking and taking inspiration from the salted plums, which are often a condiment in South Asian cuisine, or different salted and pickled fruits for it, and applied it to some of the things that we're growing in Michigan. So this recipe in the book is a brined cherry that is going with olives and lupini beans and Marcona almonds. But you can do that same process with just about any fruit that has kind of a skin that's going to hold it together. And this is a 2% salt brine. I don't really actually even measure it anymore when I'm making it at home. I just put some salt so that it tastes salty, kind of like the sea. Put fruit into it, let it sit. It can sit for as long as you've got. My friend Rob Levitt, who did a demo yesterday, I, as a young cook, asked him, well, how long does it take for something to pickle? And he said, I don't know, how long you got? And it's usually, you know, it changes over the course of the time that it's sitting, but once you get that salt onto it, it's going to start holding it. So I've kept these brined blueberries in the fridge for months on end, and they hold just fine. Their texture changes a little bit the way that a preserved lemon does, and the same is true for the cherries as well. So these are in just a salty brine. You can also salt pack them, and so you can do things like pack fruit, you know, in solid salt the way that you would with lemons or the plums. Is that how have you made salted plums?
Yeah, so you would use like these sour plums. It just depends. If you've been to Hawaii and you've had the shaved ice with the in Vietnamese we call them simoi, and it's like salted red plums. You wonder like what the red is. Don't ask. And but it's a particular plum that you used, and I think that it actually may be related to an apricot more than a plum. But yeah, I love this. What you're going after, is there a particular, you want the fruit to be particularly ripe or unripe?
I tend to do it ripe because that's usually when I'm trying to just hold on to it. But you can do it if you go, like there was a big pickled green strawberry phase a little while back. You can use an unripe fruit, and really the bottom line is just taste it. And you can coax different flavors out of things by what's inherently in that fruit. So this is a fully ripe blueberry. Again, that salty brine. It's in a bowl with some Castelvetrano olives and lupini beans. Again, that working in of protein in different ways. Lupini beans are traditional Italian aperitivo. And then I add a little bit of chili flake just for some zip, some fennel seed. And these have both already been toasted. That toasting, because you're not going to heat them again, is a really easy way to just bring out some of those flavors. And I make these in big batches and just keep them in the fridge just like that. And so I'll keep things separate, or you can mix them up into a big batch. And this is about as dead simple as a recipe that you can do for a professional institution's demo of all times, that you're just literally tossing it into a bowl and putting it together. But this is where that simplicity, you can really taste those extra little bites of the toasted fennel seed, the chili flake, and then you get that salty pop alongside, and juicy kind of sweet pop alongside the saltiness of the Castelvetranos, and then the texture of the lupini beans. So I would put this out with a Negroni, with that fermented carrot juice that there was yesterday at the reception that was so delicious. This is a good afternoon sort of snack for folks. And
you said you could do this with cherries?
Yeah, I usually do it with cherries. Again, it was something that came about when I just think cherry and olive really love each other, and it's not a traditional mixed coffee would roll over in his grave.
Who cares? Who cares? It's Christmassy too.
Exactly, yeah, and it just has this nice color, because again, we've been talking a lot these last few days about eating with your eyes and getting those different colors and textures with it.
That is absolutely beautiful. Wow.
I have a question for you, a very simple question. So when you're putting that out with your Negroni, are people eating that with a spoon? Are they eating it with their hands?
I tend to use my fingers, but I am not always the most cultured person in the room. And so you could put out those little forks, sort of thing. You could dish them out into individual dishes too. But yeah, it's definitely like a snacky thing that you would have if you were doing, like a vegetable board with a couple of different dips, or, if you are serving meat and cheese, like a cheese and charcuterie platter, this would be perfectly at home alongside that too.
So one question while we're like doing a wardrobe change here, what do you think about pitted versus unpitted olives?
I like things with pits in them and stones. And especially, I think the biggest thing is that when you do this with cherries, you want to be sure that if the cherries have their pits, which will make them hold a bit better because they have a whole fruit, you want the olives to have pits, because if people see a pitted olive and then they're not expecting the cherry pit, you can be liable for a dental bill with your guests.
How lovely.
Do we have any questions from the audience while we're waiting?
This is such an unusual combination, too. How did you, olives with fruit?
Yeah, it came about, it was actually Rob, when I was a young cook, he put up we worked together at a restaurant, he put up a duck dish that had cherries on it, and we were tasting it through, and he was like, what do you guys think? And I said, it feels like it needs, olive or saltiness or something like that. And he was like, no, that's wrong. Olives and
how
cherries
wrong was he?
Yeah, and he's not here anymore, so here we are. He went home to Chicago. So that was just, as a 24-year-old, kind of a question in the back of my mind, and then it stayed. But how these kind of get built is that just tasting the thing, and then I'll often just close my eyes and think what else I want for it. Or the flip is that, how do you work something that you have abundance in? So for me, it's kind of both ways, where it can either be that you have something that you're trying to fit into a recipe, or the dish itself is calling to you with that. And I'm curious how that works for you with writing your books too, how you kind of build that structure out.
With this particular recipe that I wanted to showcase for you today, it uses jackfruit. And I know last year, if any of you came conference, you familiarize yourself with young jackfruit. And a lot of people think of jackfruit as just being for pulled pork. And people don't think of where did little jackfruit came from, and what does jackfruit look like. And jackfruit in the wild is a fruit that is at least the size of a toddler. It can be as tall as you and me. And so you don't want to be really spending too much time underneath a jackfruit tree in case one drops. And they're very bumpy versus durian, which looks similar, but it's smaller, and durian is spiky. And durian is very pungent, whereas jackfruit is sweet and mild. And there is so much jackfruit grown in Southeast Asia and in South Asia that people eat it ripe when it's yellow and sweet, it unripe when it is kind of a buff color. But very seldom, and they eat every single part of it practically. Like the seeds, if you boil them, they taste like chestnuts. And then the arils that are between the pods of flesh of jackfruit, that can be boiled and used too, because it has a certain texture, and it's included with meat and without meat. The wood is termite free, and people use it to build homes and make sculptures out of too. So that jackfruit to us is more than just pulled pork. And but there's never been any Asian pulled pork dish. So so I was why don't we take this jackfruit, young jackfruit, and give young jackfruit an Asian spin, a Southeast Asian spin. So in the book, I've got a couple of jackfruit recipes, and one of them is a pulled pork done with chashu flavor, and the other is a jackfruit salad. So jackfruit in Vietnamese is called mít, M-I-T, which, you know, sounds like meat in Vietnamese, but we don't think of it as like a meat sub. So this is called gỏi mít trộn chay, and typically Vietnamese salads are like, they starve vegetables. In this case, the fruit is a vegetable, right? And you treated the fruit, blueberries, as kind of like a vegetable, and you're going to do similar things later on in other dishes. But young jackfruit comes in a can. So if like you look this up on the internet, like you're going to see like Vietnamese YouTubes with like people attacking whole jackfruit and cooking it. My friends, no, just open a can.
I don't have to sharpen my machete and wrestle a toddler.
Right, wrestle a toddler, and then also wear latex gloves, because like all the gloves that we, you know, like got a hold of during COVID, well, you can keep using them for, you know, prepping Southeast Asian ingredients. And because jackfruit naturally has a lot of latex, which is why some people are allergic to it, so you don't want to eat too much of it. But when you open up the can of jackfruit, you're going to see these pieces that look like wedges of cheese. And what you want to do is you want to cut them into smaller pieces. And so I cut them into wedges that, you know, are about ½ an inch wide at the end. And you can see from the jackfruit the places where you would naturally have these seeds that form. And these are like less than toddlers, you know. They're smaller. I mean, I just can't.
6 to 12-month-olds.
They are. I don't have children, but they're still gestational, you know, jackfruit. And
I actually have a quick question. I know that we have a lot of people working in institutions where they have to consider allergens.
Yes.
Is this something that they need to think about with the canned jackfruit? Like when you mentioned the latex.
Latex. I don't know that many people. I've run into one person who told me, I have a latex allergy. So, you know, I don't know what all the vegan pulled pork people have been doing.
I feel like I only know one person who has a latex allergy as well, and she has said that it's such a rare allergy that she's pretty confident on, you know, what the things are that are going to trigger it, and she'll avoid it. But I've never seen anyone disclaim for a latex allergy in any sort of like signage or whatever.
Thank you. So, you know, you can be like relatively safe.
Cavalier with your latex ingredients.
With your latex. Yeah. So the other thing that's oftentimes done with Vietnamese salad recipes is we squeeze things. So we salt them and we squeeze them. The reason why you do that is that then you are wringing out some of the moisture. And if there's like liquid that comes out of here. You're just going to give it a little firm squeeze, wring out. And it's like what we were talking about what you were doing with kohlrabi. So Abra does this cool thing with kohlrabi where, you know, she freezes it, and then it gives up its moisture, and it has like this beautiful texture. Similarly, even though you take this out and you're like, oh my God, Andrea, you just made it look so ugly. It's okay because it's like a sponge. Once we hit it with the dressing later, it will soak it up. So we're always squeezing on things. So like Vietnamese papaya salads, unlike Thai papaya salads, we traditionally wrung out the papaya. We salt it. And I add a little sugar too to keep its texture, and then you let it release its liquid, and then you wring it out.
Is there a way to look at an ingredient and say, I definitely want to wring that out? Like, I'm thinking about like if somebody were to wake up on a desert island, all of a sudden they found some fruit that they're not comfortable or like familiar with, and they can say, okay, to make a perfect salad while I'm alone on this island, I know I need to wring that out. What are you looking for then? High moisture. Okay.
Yeah. Cucumbers, ringers. Yeah. Gotta wring it out.
I'm picturing like a cartoon lineup of all the vegetables that get wrung.
No.
Okay.
Because it's low moisture, right?
Yeah.
Carrots, you want to soften them a little bit. I mean, like, there's still, even though it came out of a can, it sat around for a while, I mean, you know, it's like you still want to wring it out. and then put it into your bowl here, and you just want to fluff things up. And then typically, this is a salad. These Vietnamese salads are oftentimes made with a lot of meat, and I pull the meat back on the salad because the meat component oftentimes is what like makes these things very special, these special event salads. And I pulled the meat out of it and I substituted mushrooms because number one, like the people want the meat because they want that plushness, right? And so when we're creating plant-forward menus, you don't need to, you want to think, well, what does that meat do for me? What kinds of little bells and whistles does it make me feel like, you know, so I'm getting this fattiness sometimes. I'm getting this texture, pork belly, and it's just boiled. So people are going for that kind of lush quality because these salads in the past were special event salads. So I would invite Abra over for, you know, a sumptuous meal, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make her a salad because I'm gonna go outside, cut down a jackfruit. I'm going to then like prep it, and then I'm going to get some meat because it's so precious. I'm going to get some pork belly, and I'm going to spend some money on some shrimp. I'm going to poach those. I'm going to slice them, and then I'm going to toss everything together with a lot of herbs.
And I think that's an interesting thing too. I mean, Kate was talking about it in the last session about for Polish food that, you know, it is not traditionally a super meat heavy culture, but we think of it that way because what was the special sort of guest coming over has transferred to the restaurant culture and now is kind of then been extracted from those countries and shows up elsewhere, and that's what people know of it. Do you feel the same way about Vietnamese food?
Totally, totally. Special immigrants coming here, we're just like, oh my God, look at all the affordable meat we have.
Yeah.
You know, and like we're eating a lot of this stuff, and honestly, it's like become an issue of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, obesity, and if we had stayed in the old country, believe me, I do not want to stay in Vietnam. We were refugees in 1975. I'm very happy to have left. But there is a certain loss of culture of like being more mobile. And what I'm doing here is I'm frying up a little garlic. Garlic is typically part of this, fried garlic, and it gives it a little sumptuousness. And so I'm just waiting for it to turn a little blonde there. You can buy fried garlic. It's used so much in Southeast Asian food that you can buy it, but you never know when that fried garlic was made. Just the same thing with shallots.
Do you make it in large batches at home just to have on hand, or do you always fry it fresh for each dish?
When I'm making, when I know I'm going to be using it a lot, I will. And I'm always kind of like watching it, right, because it can burn so easily. So there's a certain point where I'm just going to scoop that out. I would completely, you know, if I were making this for a catering gig, I would fry a lot of garlic up and then keep it. And in this very flavorful oil, I'm going to sear my mushroom. Use shiitake. Shiitake has a very, again, sumptuous texture, especially fresh shiitake. Do not use dry shiitake that you've rehydrated because that's not going to give you that kind of lush, fatty quality. Oyster mushrooms are wonderful too. And if you want something that kind of tastes like chicken legs, for example, in Vietnamese, king trumpet mushrooms are called nấm đùi gà, which means chicken drumstick mushroom. And when I was working on Evergreen Vietnamese, I was really focusing, you know, like meditations on vegetables. And I was like, oh, it does really like seem like chicken.
Which is just something about the inclusion of the word drumstick. Like nobody like scoffs at hen of the woods as being like the name, but there's something about chicken drumstick mushroom.
Yeah, it's like chicken drumstick mushroom. And then like you cook and you're like, it is like
that.
Texturally firm like that. So you're just like giving, and then the other thing too is that mushrooms squeak, you know, we talk about in terms of they're being earthy, and then some are earthy, some are just textural and crunchy, but they squeak when you cook them.
Just like a chicken.
Just like a chicken. I think that if we're going to get more people to eat vegetables, that we do need to kind of build these areas of familiarity, cultural familiarity so that people are like, oh yeah, you know, maitake is kind of crunchy like tendons sometimes.
It smells so good.
Yeah, so once it is glistening, you can pull them off and then let them cool.
And there was a question in the earlier session about how to best, move some of these larger institutions to plant-based. And one of the things I was thinking about is also just the nature of not offering some of it. And so, having these dishes that are so complete without the addition of meat, and then just not telling them that it's not there. Like this, and I think the mushrooms can fill that void for it too.
People don't know. However, I have to tell you, like, for my friends, my Vietnamese chef friends, they're like, oh, Andrea, I need that meat because it's not gai. It's not that salad without the sumptuous. I'm like, no, all our salads are defined and named by the vegetable. So why don't we let the vegetable drive that bus? And the meat is just providing this texture and this fattiness, because Vietnamese salads tend to be pretty light. And so and you want color. So I use carrots, I shave them. No need to spend time julienning too many things. It's a pain in the butt. And so I just shave them for color. And then I will let these cool down a little bit before I mix everything up. So you can have this like prepped out and ready to toss. The things that also go in there is a little dressing. And dressing is very simple and very intense. Fresh lime juice, about 2 tablespoons. Oftentimes, the sugar that is used in Vietnamese cooking is granulated white sugar. I like to use agave because it dissolves really quickly. And then fish sauce and chili. So for the fish sauce, you can use regular fish sauce if you like, or you can use a vegan fish sauce. And I make my own vegan fish sauce. There's stuff that's like sold in Vietnamese markets that are from Vietnam, and they're kind of chemically. So for the first recipe I did for my cookbook was to make a fake fish sauce, because I was like, I know people are going to ask me, what do you do about the nước mắm? What's your sub? And so this has pineapple juice, seaweed, salt, Marmite for color, and a flavor enhancer, or what we call Asian mushroom granules. And I've had like some of my closest and persnickety Asian chef friends taste this, and they're like, that is good, because I formulated it to be a similar 1-to-1 swap with regular fish sauce. Because a lot of the fish sauce that you're going to see, like what's sold at Whole Foods, it doesn't have enough sodium to stand up to being a 1-to-1 replacer. So if you're looking at something like a product that only has 500 grams of sodium for 1 tablespoon, you're going to just need tons of that. And this will be up here for y'all like to taste and try later on, but it's really quite remarkable and fun. And you like make it in like, there's very little active cooking time involved. And the pineapple does this thing where it gives it this little fermenty quality, this little lilt, and the seaweed, wakame and kombu together, give it a piscine quality that say, oh, I'm of the sea. Sauce from the sea. And then you're going to add a little chili. I use red Fresno. Vietnamese food, like compared to Thai food, is not as hot. And we have some certain chilies that are about, as long as 3 or 4 inches, and they have a moderate level of heat. And I'm looking for color here. I've got my sauce ready to go, and also peanuts go in there. Vietnamese salads have very little oil. And so the fat comes in the form of nuts and seeds. And so the nuts, oftentimes you can chop them, or if you pound them in a mortar and pestle, you're going to release the oils. And what the nuts do is they enrobe and they get, distributed by the dressing that you made. And so that becomes the sauce. So it's not just a pretty garnish thing, but it is a particular source of richness and fattiness for your salads. So that's why you see nuts and sometimes sesame seeds also. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about is how this salad is eaten. You can just stab at it. You can eat it with but we like finger food. So like, Abra's a great person for me to invite over because she's going to eat with her fingers at my house, which is what a lot of what we do. So this is what I call a scooper. So Vietnamese salads can sometimes be scooped. We can scoop them with a fried shrimp chip, or we can scoop them with a rice cracker. And so we call these, sometimes you'll see them called bánh tráng, or otherwise known as bánh đa. Bánh đa is the northern Vietnamese term for them. And they will be sold at a Vietnamese market or Chinese market right side by side with your rice paper. So for those of you who were in my session yesterday afternoon with Paul Smith, I use this brand of rice paper for the grilled rice paper pizzas. I go-to brand for all of my regular rice papers. It's sturdy. I'm just telling you this because for your purposes, go with the 3 ladies or 3 bamboo. We like the number 3 because it's like a good luck thing. We never have number 4. We're like number 3 or number 5, some kind of odd number. So 3 ladies are good. For these guys here, they look like you cannot possibly eat them. I mean,
Admittedly, I would be like, I don't know.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And traditionally, rice paper in Vietnam was like all rice, but now they blend rice and tapioca in there. So to make things rehydrate a lot faster, they are essentially cooked rice sheets that have been dried. So what do you do to cook these up? We used to grill them over a charcoal fire, and they would toast up and they would puff up. That was great when they were made with all rice. And my family used to buy them through my sister from an undisclosed location in Southern California, where they were made by older women for for like decades, and now they are retired. So, and they don't want to pass on their knowledge, so we buy them from the supermarket. And what do? You nuke them. And when you nuke them, they go from flat to this.
How long are you talking in the microwave? Like,
rotate every 30 seconds.
Okay.
Depends on your microwave. Abby and I did these back in the...
there's a secret kitchen behind us in case
it's
anybody...
called the break room. And that's where their microwave is. And we put them in every 30 seconds, turn them. They will literally undulate and become like bowls.
Wow. That's cool.
And you flip them, and these took 90 seconds.
Okay.
So, and they can be made way in advance, as long as you keep them in like an airtight container, like a Cambro or something like that. And then what you do is you're going to, you don't just like toss them out, you literally, you break them into shards, and then you serve them. They're used for scooping, like a chip. They're also dropped into soups, and they kind of soften and become practically like a cracklin. So anyway, let's bring the salad together. And so I've got my jackfruit in there. I've got my carrots. I'm going to add the fried garlic, the mushroom, which is now cooled. All of this stuff is cold, room temperature. Okay, so you can like really get it all assembled however you like, and then a lot of herbs. Herbs in the Vietnamese kitchen are not a garnish. It's a vegetable. It's a flavor. So you can use Thai basil. You can also use, this is called rau ram, which I picked from my garden yesterday at like 8 o'clock in the morning, or not, Tuesday before I drove up. And whatever you do, you want to use a lot of it. So I'm going to put like half a cup in here and hand tear it. And rau ram, otherwise called laksa in Malaysian language, is like cilantro. So if you have people who hate cilantro, this is not for them. If you taste it, and it will finish. Well, you can like give it a taste.
Yeah, my mind.
Yeah. It has an unusual flavor, even though I say it's like cilantro or Vietnamese coriander. What do you think?
Yeah, it's like cilantro and basil and tarragon together.
Yeah, and with
And
little,
it smells so floral.
with a little burn at the end, right? At the end of your throat.
Like a tannicness almost. Like that you get
Exactly.
from parsley.
Yeah, and it's strong stuff. And it's, we call it rau ram, and you see it a lot in Vietnamese salads. And just hand tear a bunch in there, add your peanuts, and then your dressing. And again, it's great to use something like agave. If you want to use maple, you always want to double the amount because maple's just not as sweet. If you're Amanda Cohen coming from Canada, you want to use Canadian products. Go for the maple. And so all of a sudden, our little jackfruit has become like this very pretty friend here. And then I'm going to land it on a plate. Is that for me? Thank you. So you've got everything mixed, ready to go, and then you're just going to toss this at the end. And you can ready these ingredients way in advance and bring it all together. I recently served this to a friend of mine, Chef David Kinch, who's a Michelin 3-star chef. And he just ate it all up. And, and I said to him at the end, I was like, David, it's vegan. He's like, so? So that's another thing of don't tell people. And the way that you would serve this is something like this. You always want to break up the shards, or if you've got kids or, people who know what to do, have them break it up. And it's like this strange, wild combination of flavors that you have. And if you can't fit all the crackers on there, you can just leave some on the table for people to help themselves.
And so you said that you will ready all of the ingredients and then toss it together just before serving. Do you have an outlet for, if any is left over, like if you're doing this for a big party or something and it doesn't all get eaten, do you have a way to repurpose those leftovers, or will it hold in the fridge and then you can just have it the next day?
Have it the next day. The flavor will kind of mellow a little bit, so maybe you're going to have to spritz it up, refresh it with a little lime juice, and maybe we'll that. But it's kind of good in a tortilla. So many things I repurpose as a taco.
Yeah, there's no rules.
So that is gỏi meat, don't chay. And I have to tell you, I did an event with a Vietnamese chef, and I said, let's make the young jackfruit salad. And she said, okay, great. And I said, my recipe's in the book. And she made a Ulster version with the meat, and I'm like, no, girlfriend. I mean, release yourself from that, because when we have these kinds of meals where we include special salads like this, there's so much meat on the other end.
Right.
And when I was writing this book, I wanted to make this salad doable for every day. I also knew that people were taking my recipes and veganizing them. They were telling me this.
Right.
I'm like, oh, I do this and do that. And I'm like, let me help you show the way. I'll help you.
Yeah.
So it's a different way too.
Well, and I think it then, puts the work on folks that want to include meat, then they can figure out how to put it back in, as opposed to the folks that normally have to do the heavy lifting, and then they get the break that day.
Exactly. Thank you. Here.
All right. Now I get to ask Abra all the questions for the rest of the session. I'm so excited.
And do we have any audience questions?
No fermentation involved. You can do it in an hour and a half. Most of the time, you're waiting for the pineapple juice to filter so that the any kind of sedimentation goes out. They're dull. 100%. Fresh would be awesome, like fresh pressed pineapple juice. I reverse engineered a particular product from Vietnam, and I made it without chemicals, and to get that chemically flavor out of it. And I feel like, you're gonna, One of the things that I included in this book, and I took a position on, was MSG. And MSG has been vilified for so long by Asian people and non-Asian people, but we use it. And then we also use something called Asian mushroom granules as a sub.
Do you ever use the Magi seasoning?
Oh, it is like an MVP. Yeah. So I love it. You call it Magi.
Is that, how do you pronounce it?
I call it Magi.
Okay, I've only ever read it. I've never
Yes,
actually said it out
a lot
loud
of people
before,
are.
but
Oh,
And might I just interrupt for 1 second? I wanted to say for the people watching on the webcast, the question before was about the fish sauce, the recipe for the fish sauce, how long it needed to ferment, and then whether or not you needed to use fresh or you could use canned, and then Andrea answered that. So thank you.
I mean, I think you can let it ferment for a while and see what happens, but I didn't see the need for it. Afterwards, please come up and try it out and tell me what you think.
Well, I'm going to build a salad as well, and one of the things I was noticing is the combination of sweet and sour. And so the next technique I wanted to demonstrate is how I tend to pickle fruits. And it's a strange way of doing a gastrique, but that's what I'm going to do, is basically make a gastrique and pour it over your fruit. And you can use this as a preservation method. We'll do it in big batches and then keep everything, and it is shelf stable. We also tend to freeze a lot of fruit. So this is pickled grapes. I do this with raspberries, blackberries. It started as a mulberry dish that I had picked a bunch of mulberries that mulberries aren't that good.
Thank
very
you.
Bland.
They are.
And they're beautiful, and they have a beautiful color, but they're not, I've never found some that are really get me going and excited. So this was a way to add that acidity in. And a lot of times with building salads, I'm building them in layers, and this is something that is useful in a food service setting too, because if you have these really beautiful, delicate greens, if you toss them together, the more you bang them up, the harder their go is going to be. And so if you build them in layers and with really intense ingredients, you're not damaging those greens as you build it, but everyone's still going to get the complexity of flavor. And so this is a salad that we're going to build in layers and has some more intensely flavored ingredients to keep it coming together. So what I'm doing right now is just making a dry caramel. Dry caramels feel like they've sort of fallen out of favor a little bit because I think people are scared of how much it smokes. The nice thing about this is that I like a caramel that's pretty dark. So this is just sugar in the bottom of a pan and then heat. And then you don't have to worry about it crystallizing because you're not brushing down the sides, things like that. And you're getting a little bit of smoke now, you can see. And I'm looking for that to be really smoking from the center and kind of really get going in this way. And then you can hold your nerve, because what's going to happen is you're going to add.
And we want lots of ventilation, right?
Yeah,
That's happening.
ideally, and don't talk during it. And so, once you add that vinegar to it, you are really cooling it down straight away. And so then you just want to put it back on the heat. This is a big pan. I like to do it in a deeper pan because it is always going to spit up at you in that way. And then you just put it back on the heat, and you're just looking for the caramel to have dissolved. So when we do this at the restaurant, it's like 8 cups of sugar, a gallon of vinegar, and so we need a pretty big pot for it. It takes a little while for that caramel to dissolve. This is going to go fast because it's such a small amount. Caramel is now dissolved. And so I'm just going to pour it straight over. Good job staying back, like spitting. And so it's just pouring it straight over the grapes like that. And what this will do is ideally you'll have this in a container where it's going to totally cover these, and then they can just sit in that. That little bit of heat is going to start to stress your fruit a little bit. So if you're looking to hold that shape together, these grapes are pretty sturdy, so they're going to be fine. If you're doing something like a raspberry, I really like freezing those raspberries first and then pour it over from frozen, so that then it's just going to cool that pickling liquid right away, and that will help protect the texture of that fruit. And so a lot of times in the summer, raspberries for us come in right as everything else is coming in. And so and they're the easiest fruit to freeze because they're self-contained. You can just lay them on a sheet tray with a Silpat mat and then bring it together, just pop them in there and deal with it the next day. You know, you can do the last thing on your way home. And then we just put them into Ziploc bags and then keep them in the freezer and then pull them out throughout the winter as we need it. So we'll often use this pickling method more to boost the flavors than to preserve it, but it can work the other way too. So that's going to be one component in our salad. The other component is a thing called soca, which is just equal parts chickpea flour. And I like to use soda water, and I'll do a little bit of salt with it. And this is something that is really every kind of Wednesday night meal for us at our house, because it's these really flavorful pancakes that you can vary the thickness on them. So you can make them thick, you can make them thin, you can I have baked them in the oven. I don't love it as much because you'll see how much olive oil we use to bring this together. And this is the perfect vehicle for any number of like odds and ends. When you end up with a stray carrot, in like 1 carrot, 1 rib of celery, half of a cucumber, a couple of tomatoes, you can just make a nice vegetable salad and then pile it on top of the soca. And so you can also, this is something we use in the restaurant a lot too, because we have more and more folks that are both vegan, avoiding dairy, avoiding gluten, or any combination thereof. There's no gluten in this, it's chickpea flour, so you can whisk it forever. It's come together now. So you can make these in big batches. I like to, they're pretty fast, so I tend to not do that. And then if you do have leftovers, this is sort of how this dish kind of came about, was that I had made a lot of the soca and kept it the next day. You can toast it with butter and jam, or I just cut it up and turned it into croutons. So this is going to, again, add that extra little bit of protein in, another texture to the salad, and it's a nice way to use things up. So you can see how much olive oil is in there, probably a 1/4 cup. I like to use a lot of oil. I mean, I'm a fat lover. Is there a spatula by chance? And so I like to use a good amount of olive oil, not only because of the flavor of it, but also because of the texture that it's going to give. Thank you so much, sir. That it's going to give you. It's really frying it. So it's not exactly a shallow fry, because I don't know why the technical definition, it wouldn't be, I just don't think of it that way. But you're looking for it. And so you can see now the olive oil is moving pretty freely. You can always do the little tester. So it's starting to get hot, but I want it to be pretty hot but not smoking. And then we're just going to go straight in with it. And again, you can do this in really any size pan that you want, if you want it to be thicker or thinner. And it's just the chickpea flour. I like to use soda water because it feels like it gives it a little bit of lift.
So no leavening, the soda and the salt gives it the elevation, that little bit of
Yeah, and
puff.
I know some folks will use a leavener for it. I don't, because I don't love how it changes the flavor. Yep. And it's not we're not looking for angel food cake. It's just a really kind of crunchy, light sort
It's
of
fried legume.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
Yeah.
frying beans.
Exactly. And so this is one of those things, we were talking earlier about how the plant forward or vegan conversation seemingly obsessed with protein intake. Americans eat more protein than they need, but they often need fiber. And so are not getting enough fiber, and legumes provide both of those things. So they're really a critical part to my mind, of including into a plant-forward diet, and helps take that. Plus, they're just so satisfying. It's similar to what you were talking about with the mushrooms, that you're just looking for that kind of richness and savoriness and the decadence, which is another reason why I like frying these in so much olive oil, is because it then gets that rich, decadent flavor to it.
Yeah, it's flavorful fat. And, you know, if you're people who are looking into rejiggering their health, if you're just counting your fiber, shoot, you're getting, you know, once you get to 25 grams a day, you are very full, my friends. And you're not even thinking about your protein. So, yeah, fiber. I was talking to Kelly from Aramark about that. You know? Look at fiber, not protein. And then with legumes, you're getting fiber and protein. So it's like a win-win situation.
And the like carbohydrates that keep you boosted and all of those different things. So this is very similar to a regular pancake. I'm looking for the bubbles to burst from the center. I've turned the heat down a little bit now because it is possible to burn it. In this preparation, I actually don't mind the burn because it's a little bit like a toasted, like I like grilling bread. And again, we've been talking a little bit about the sort of smoke flavor that is nice in plant-based foods. And then you can finish this in the oven too. So if you're doing a lot in a row, you can just pop it into a hot oven and it will finish cooking that way. Since I like to live on the edge, I'm going to try flipping this in front of all of you.
And do you typically use like cast iron or carbon steel or
Yeah,
nonstick?
we have primarily cast iron both at home and in the restaurant. And I think I'm just like a little lazy, and so I don't want to buy more pans than that. So that's about all it is for me. So now I've kind of gotten underneath, so I know that the whole thing is going to flip evenly. So let's see. If I can.
All right.
Thank you. It's like the only wolf whistle I get anymore is when you're flipping something in the pan. So it stuck a little bit, you know, it's fine. Everything's going to be just fine. And so I'll let that continue cooking. And then, you know, if I were serving this for a main course, I would probably cut it up into wedges, pile up that salad with it. You know, you could put some cheese on it. You could put something like a canned tuna, you know, or something like that. If you want to bring in those side dishes, like a tuna conserva with this, I will do this a lot for parties to go as like an appetizer thing, or we'll do it thinner and cut out circles for a canapé sort of option. They hold well. It's a really perfect food. And so imagine that this were done cooking. But this is the color that you're looking for with it too. And that even you can see how much olive oil was used. It's still stuck a little bit. And so, you know, don't be shy on the olive oil when you're cooking it. And then what we'll do is we would take this out and cut it up into croutons. You have that nice dark color, and then all of a sudden you have it here. And these, you can retoast them. So you can dress them in a little bit more olive oil, a little bit of salt, toast them into an oven. Oh yeah, there you go. And so you have them be warm, they can be dried, you can cut them up just as they are, you know, really just play around with what that looks like. And then to build our salad, I'm going to make a little bit of dressing with these handy OXO shakers. Don't go too far with that. I have a real love of soda water. It's my like real weakness. I've never gotten into heroin, but soda water, really into it.
It refreshes the palate morning, noon, and night.
Exactly.
And makes food more effervescent.
Yeah. And it makes you burp, which is always fun. All right, so we've got mustard in here. And then this is the liquid from the pickled grapes that were made yesterday. So this is an incredibly flavorful liquid. It's not only the gastrique that we've had, but it also now has the fruit flavor in it. Don't ever throw this away. You can cut it with soda water for like a little faux cocktail. It's good with bourbon. It's good with some gins, things like that. We'll just add it into this. And then we'll add in, that one's already in a bowl. Let's assume that that's olive oil. And maybe we'll add and I tend to do kind of 1-to-1 fat to acid. Again, that kind of super punchy dressing that you were talking about for it. And then this is another way, if you've got little ones, kids love shaking stuff apparently, and so they will shake it up for you super quick. It doesn't have to be precisely measured. Otherwise, you can whisk it. If you're doing this in large batches in a food service situation, you're not looking for an emulsification necessarily, so you can put it in something with a whisk, but it's okay if it looks broken in the end. And then we're just going to start to build our salad. The other component, you know, salads really, to keep your guests from feeling like they're just like chewing grass over and over and over again, these different pops of texture are really valuable to it. So the other thing that we're adding again, plant forward, not plant exclusive, is these goat cheese balls that are rolled in walnuts. Thank you to the walnut company for their sponsorship. And so it's just fresh goat cheese. We whipped it up to make it a little soft and fluffy. You can put things like cumin, coriander, chili flake, anything else you want into it, but it also doesn't need to have anything else. And then form them into little balls, roll them in walnuts. This is something I do not do at home. This is something that's for like a restaurant or a special guest presentation. Like, there's no way, you know, if it's 7 o'clock, you know, and so it really is just kind of an extra little thing. You can just add the walnuts into it otherwise as a different component. So now we've got our spinach, and this is just a baby spinach. Kind of build it in layers.
Could you just like put, you know, some goat cheese on there, you know?
Totally, yeah, just dots of goat cheese.
Yeah, it's like midweek, or you're just, you know, you're on the line, you got to fire that salad right away.
Or, you know, I've also done these where it's more of a cheese course, and so you have a, you know, a 2-ounce portion of cheese that's then the actual, you know, thing that you're showcasing, and then rolling that, and the walnuts are topping it with the walnuts. And we'll do a little bit of black pepper as well. And when I'm building a platter salad, you know, you're going to go in kind of layers, and I tend to do about 2/3 at the outset because it gives you this nice base of surface area to then keep going for it. So we're scattering our croutons, a couple of these goat cheese nut balls, and then some of our pickled grapes. You know, if you were using like a purple grape for it, you would get that color difference. Same with any of the other berries, things like that. Topping it up again, getting a little bit more height. Imagine there was salt and pepper.
Would you ever cut the grapes in half if they're really big?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
And I would do that after they're pickled.
Correct.
Because I think especially if you're using something like a Concord or something that has that thicker skin, it will sometimes slip off from the grape itself.
That way you could deal with seeds too that may bug people.
Yeah. And that's another thing too, you know, this fruit, we were talking at some point, I think Giselle was talking the first day about how, you know, there are a million different types of bananas, and we only ever see the, is it the Cavalier or the Cavendish banana?
Cavendish, yeah.
Cavendish in the store. And so, you know, that's true, especially for grapes, where we are, you know, you think of, there's 4 types of grapes. There's purple ones and green ones, purple ones with seeds and green ones with seeds, and that's about it. And then there's jam or jelly. And so, you know, there's so many more varieties, and especially in a region like this, I'm just gonna rinse my hands off real quick. There's so many, the wine grapes are delicious table grapes too. You know, Riesling grapes,
Muscat.
Yeah, they're delicious. And so if you can get your hands on them, then serve it like that. And put them on your table with your meat and cheese board, and then the wine of the same, you know, divination. But so that's your salad kind of built up. You could keep going in those layers. Thank you, sir. And what you're going to get when you go into it is that dressing is going to mix as you go. You'll get the creaminess of the goat cheese, the crunch of the walnuts, the crunch of the Soka crouton, and then that really like, you know, sweet and tart agrodolce of the grapes themselves. And then the final presentation for us, and Jennifer, how are we doing on time? We need to hurry up a little bit.
We have just a few minutes.
Okay, so we're gonna imagine you're making a granola. You put that stuff in a bowl, some oil, some honey, put it into the oven, take an apple, cut it in half, scoop the seeds out. So you've got this, ta-da, beautiful baked, didn't know that was in there, did you? So a beautiful baked apple that you're gonna put the halves together, top it with the unbaked granola, and then bake it together. And so then as it bakes, it's going to crisp up the granola. The apples are going to give a little bit of steam up from the bottom, and they're going to meld together. But then to serve this to someone, you're missing that like whipped cream kind of phenomenon that, you know, in the previous session they were talking about looking for a heavy whipping cream. I use a lot of tahini as my filler for whipped cream. So this is tahini, and I like to do just, thank you, a even mix of almost, sorry, one sec. Usually I make this in such a big amount that I'll just empty the whole jar of tahini in and then fill it with water. And I start with about half water to tahini. And you can add all other sorts of things to this. We've made this with oat milk to give it a little bit of extra creaminess. I'm going to add just a pinch of salt. You can add vinegar. You can add honey to it. And I like to demonstrate it because it always looks bad until it looks really good. And so like right now, if you can see that, come to you. Oh, there we go. It looks bad. But if you keep going, it just magically comes together into this silky, creamy, fluffy, whipped mixture that swings both sweet and savory really easily. And so we've done this, Andrea was mentioning that we do a punched out kohlrabi scallop pretty often at the restaurants. We have a lot of kohlrabi. This underneath with like a caponata over the top, so that you're getting that kind of punchy dressing or punchy condiment on top of the creaminess of the whipped tahini and then the crunch of that scallop. We use it on these desserts a lot. And so now you can see it suddenly just magically has come together into this really light, fluffy, rich thing. And you can keep going with the water if you want to. That's how I get to a tahini dressing. So a lot of times, especially with spinach and strawberries, I'll make a tahini dressing that will go over the top. And I want that to be a little bit thinner so that it actually coats the leaves as opposed to standing up underneath as a texture. So now to plate it up, we've got our very dramatic black bowl. And I'm going to do probably like a 1/4 cup or so. So it's a little bit more substantial than an average person's whipped cream. This is about how much whipped cream I like on a dessert. I'm just going to rest the apple right on top. And then if you had a little bit more of the granola or something like that, you could finish it. You can also finish this. It would be lovely finished with some olive oil, a little bit of flake salt to it. You could do fresh fruit on top of it, anything like that for it. And then this is a fully vegan dessert that's getting the creaminess of a whipped cream, the crunch of the granola, the sweetness, a little saltiness from the apple, and they've roasted down together. Plus, these can be made in giant batches. They hold well. You can prep them in advance and then just top them with the granola. They're really, really malleable for lots of applications.
Amazing. Thank you. Wow. What I love was like how Abra and I, when we're walking through building these recipes and developing new dishes, you then parse what people think of as being necessary in a spectacular, fun, delicious, tasty dish, right? And then you're like, it's got the fat, it's got the texture, it's got the flavor, it's got the salt, it's got the sweet, it's got the tart. And it's the same thing as what people talk about when they're talking about savory dishes. It's just that it's always like in the past, it was like, umami, get the meat out.
And the surprise, that little bit of a surprise with it, where if you have this like different texture, different pop of flavor, different pop of color, things like that. And Jennifer, I know that we're getting towards the end, but before we go, I just wanted to say thank you to the kitchen team that's been running behind the scenes for the last, for who knows how long, honestly. But there's a tremendous amount of work that Chef Tony and Avia and Rebecca do to make sure that we have everything so that we get to just like waltz up and have a good conversation.
Fun. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for being here and for doing that for us.
And to Jennifer.
And to Jennifer and all the ops teams. Yeah, it's a big lift.
Well, thank you. So this, as we said, this is the last session of Global Plant Forward. We'll head upstairs to our lunch, which comes from the other attendees who are in the kitchen workshop with Nick Sharma and Polly Lapetito. And so thank you so much for your energy and enthusiasm and interest. We've had a great time here these last 3 days. And you may have tasted Andrea's salad at the opening, when did we have that? For the opening registration. But Abra and Andrea have both great books. And so if you didn't get a chance to get them at the book signing, we'll have them in our shop. But you can also get them online through Bookshop or things like that. So thank you so much, and we'll see you upstairs.
And we will sign any of the books that are in the gift shop, whether we wrote them or not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I will like.
Hi, my name is Josh Harnden, and we're here at 11 Madison Park. I'm going to be making a sunflower salad for you guys. So to start, I wanted to talk about the ingredient that's probably the most unique about the dish, is the actual sunflowers. So these are pretty general sunflower that you'll see growing around. There's a few different types. Some of them are super bitter and astringent. This variety is something that we grow at our farm that we find to be less bitter and less medicinal tasting. We try to utilize everything on the flour itself. What it actually looks like when we break it down is something like this. So we clean the whole flower, we clean the stamen from the center, we remove the petals, and we keep it in acidulated water. You really want to clean all the green off. It's super fibrous, and then you break it down just to the core. And then when it's cooked, you actually end up with a texture that's similar to artichokes. This is an example of some that are cooked. These have been cooked in a white wine and vegetable stock with a little bit of saffron. And that helps with the discoloring as well, because they start out pretty pale and pretty white. So if you add like a little bit of saffron, it gives it a nice kind of yellow golden color to them. The salad's gonna be paired with some summer beans, some yellow wax beans, a little bit of green tomatoes that have been pickled, some sunflower seeds, a little bit of a mustard aioli, and then we try to do different varieties of the petals themselves. So we've baked some chips that are simply baked with a little bit of olive oil and salt in between silpats and roasted at 300 degrees in the oven. And then we have some that we fermented. We fermented them with a rice paste, a little bit of chili, a little bit of garlic and onion, similar to what you would do for a kimchi. And then we have some that are just fresh that have been washed and cleaned. To start building the salad, we use a rectangular mold. We're going to pipe in 4 dots of the garlic aioli that's spread out evenly within the mold. On top of that, we're going to place some of our summer bean salad that has epazote, a little bit of yuzu, a little bit of chili, and green beans folded into it. Now this is probably one of the most difficult parts of building the salad, is just getting it into the mold in an even layer. And something that we use to help with this process is that we take an offset spatula and we bend that back in an even layer. Just work from one end to the other until you have just even sides. You want to make sure that your salad is not too wet when you pack it into the mold. Otherwise, the juices are going to push out the sides and you're going to end up with something that you're not really happy with. Once you have that, you're going to remove the mold. Now we're just going to place some piles of pickled green tomatoes, just for a pop of acidity. These have been pickled in a white balsamic pickling liquid. After that, we're going to do some candied sunflower seeds. These have been cooked in a simple syrup. You let the sugar reduce down, you place them into a colander, and then you rinse off any of the excess sugar quickly, and then you fry it in an oil that's at about 350 degrees. From here, we're going to add some of our kimchied sunflower petals. They're pretty strong, so we don't really need to add too many. Just adds like a little bit of funk and a little bit of acid to the dish. And you want to spread these out evenly so you don't get too much in one bite. Then from here, we're going to start adding our sunflower petals. We're going to start at the top of the dish. We're going to do some thinly sliced yellow wax beans in between each layer. The sunflower chips we're going to add on last because they will go limp. And one by one, keep plating until you get to the base. And add one more bean just to finish it off, just so that the salad is fully covered. Now another fun part of this is we've taken the sunflower marigold, these pieces here, we've thinly sliced them and layered them out onto a piece of parchment. So it's naturally pretty sticky itself, so you can actually take that with your offset spatula and lift it up, and it should stay in one piece. If it does break apart, you can always fix it. If it sticks to the paper, you want to make sure you lift that first, and when you press it on just lightly. So now you can see it's kind of lifted up on one side, and you can just press it down just so slightly in the center. The chips that we made, and just tuck them under in between the rows. These are nice just to give it a little bit more texture, but they're also just adding a nice natural color to it. Then from here, we're just going to finish it with a little bit of a yuzu citrus vinaigrette, and we're just going to brush over the veil just because it does dry out a little bit. Then to finish, a little bit of fleur de sel. That's it. So here you have a summer bean salad with sunflowers, epazote, and yuzu.
Today, we're making these delicious roasted carrot tamales. I'll show you some plant-based techniques for bringing out the earthy and sweet flavor of the carrots. I was inspired to make these tamales from the corn tamales I tasted at Dirt Candy. We're going to make masa with carrot broth. Fill the tamales with roasted carrots and chiles, and serve the tamales with a carrot and habanero coulis. We'll start by making the roasted carrot filling. Here I have some heirloom carrots, poblano chiles, and white onion that I've roasted with olive oil, salt, and pepper in a 425-degree Fahrenheit oven for 30 to 45 minutes until tender. Once the roasted vegetables have cooled, pulse them in a food processor to a coarse consistency. Adjust the seasoning to taste. Set this aside while we make our coulis. For our coulis, here are some orange carrots that I've washed, peeled, and cut into a medium dice. Remember to save all of your carrot peels because we're going to use them when we make our broth later. Into a saucepan, add our carrots, as well as some diced habanero chiles with the seeds and stems removed, and Mexican oregano. To add a deep umami flavor, add some prepared Knorr Professional Caldo de Vegetales. Bring this to a boil and allow to simmer until the carrots are very tender. Remove the vegetables from the broth. In a blender, puree the vegetables until smooth, using broth to adjust the consistency. Simmer the carrot peelings in some prepared Knorr Professional Caldo de Vegetales for 15 minutes to extract flavor. Strain, reserving the broth and discarding the peelings. Now let's make our masa dough. In a stand mixer, beat some vegetable shortening with a couple tablespoons of the carrot broth until fluffy. In another mixing bowl, combine masa harina, baking powder, and salt. Add the masa mixture to the shortening mixture and combine to form a soft dough. Add additional broth if you need to. You're looking for a dough with a soft paste-like texture. Cover the dough and set aside. And now we'll build the tamales. Here, I have some corn husks that have been soaked in warm water for 30 minutes so they're nice and pliable. Place the corn husk shiny side up and spread about 1/4 cup masa dough on the husk, about 1/4 inch thick. Place 1 to 2 tablespoons of carrot filling down the center of the dough. Roll up the tamales. Repeat until all corn husks are filled and rolled. Steam the tamales for 45 minutes to an hour. To check to see if the tamales are done, unroll one and see if the masa still sticks to the husk. If it does, cook for an additional 15 minutes. If it releases, it is cooked. Now we're ready to serve our tamales. Cover the bottom of the serving plate with a prepared hot coulis. Drizzle with crema. Remove a tamale from the husk and place in the center of the coulis. Top with microgreens. Made with Knorr Professional Caldo de Vegetales. This is a delicious and comforting vegetarian twist on traditional tamales that your customers will love.
My name is Magnus Young, and I'm the chef de cuisine and culinary manager at the Cliff Family Winery and Biscuiteria food truck in St. Helena, California. The food truck can be found parked outside the Cliff Family tasting room, and we serve a seasonally inspired menu with organic produce from our farm on Owl Mountain. I'm going to show you how to make this watermelon michelada, a fruity, sweet, and refreshing update to a traditional michelada. A michelada is a beer cocktail made with tomato juice, lime juice, Worcestershire, and hot sauce. Watermelon is very popular on beverage menus, and in this version, we're going to use watermelon juice instead of tomato juice. First, let's start by making the watermelon juice. Here I have watermelon that I've cut into chunks. Puree the watermelon in a blender or food processor and strain. Watermelon is 92% water, making it very easy to puree and juice. The yield should be about 2 cups total. You can discard the solids or you can save it to use for later. I like to use to make watermelon butter. Chill the juice. Mix the chilled watermelon juice with 48 ounces of chilled Mexican lager, hot sauce, Worcestershire, and lime juice. You can serve these enchiladas in a beer glass, margarita glass, or even a mason jar. I have a 16-ounce beer glass here, and I'm going to rim the edge with a lime wedge, then rim the glass with a mixture of flaky sea salt and tahini. Add a little ice to the glass and pour in the enchilada. Garnish with a slice of watermelon dusted with chili powder or tahini. I'm using a slice of yellow watermelon. Watermelon and chili are a classic and delicious combination. This watermelon enchilada is so refreshing and a great addition to a brunch menu. My name is Magnus Young, and I'm the chef de cuisine and culinary manager at the Cliff Family Winery and Biscuiteria food truck in St. Helena, California. The food truck can be found parked outside the Cliff Family tasting room, and we serve a seasonally inspired menu with organic produce from our farm on Owl Mountain. A sabich is a traditional pita or laffa bread stuffed with fried eggplants, hard-boiled egg, chopped salad, amba, and tahini sauce. It's an Iraqi Jewish street food that has become a staple of Israeli cuisine. This sabich with watermelon salad and a watermelon rind amba is a creative and contemporary take on an Israeli-style sabich. Let's start by making one of the sauces, watermelon rind amba. Amba is a super pungent, tangy mango sauce popular in Iraq and Israel. In this version, I'm going to make the sauce using watermelon rind in place of mango. Considering that watermelon is actually in the gourd family, you can think of using the watermelon rind just like you would a squash. It has a cucumbery flavor and texture. Using the rind also helps reduce food waste. In a large sauté pan, sweat roughly chopped watermelon rind with shallots and garlic in olive oil until it reduces by half. Here I have a spice mixture of yellow mustard, fenugreek, cumin, sumac, and turmeric. Add the spices to bloom. Add apple cider vinegar, then reduce by a quarter. Add a pinch of salt to taste. Puree the mixture in a blender until smooth. Add some lemon juice and a little more salt to taste if needed. Now onto the watermelon salad. Usually this salad is made with tomatoes, but instead I'm using diced watermelon, the juicy flesh and more savory rind. In a large mixing bowl, toss together 8 ounces of diced watermelon flesh, diced watermelon rind, diced Persian cucumber, diced red onion, and finely chopped parsley. Combine with a quarter cup of olive oil, lemon juice, and adjust seasoning with salt as needed. Here I have eggplants that I'll partially peel in strips and cut into half-inch thick slices. If you're using a larger eggplant, you could cut the pieces into rounds instead. Lay the eggplant onto a parchment-lined sheet tray. Season each piece with salt, pepper, and a drizzle of olive oil, and bake at 400 Fahrenheit for 20 to 30 minutes until golden brown and tender. Now we're ready to put our sabich together. Fill each pita pocket with a little tahini sauce, watermelon rind amba, slices of roasted eggplant, quartered hard-boiled eggs, and watermelon salad. Top each sabich with more watermelon rind amba and tahini sauce. A sabich really is one of the world's best sandwiches, and the addition of watermelon brings a bright and fruity flavor and a crunchy, refreshing texture.